Hello, everyone. It's Dustin again, and thank you for checking out Operation Tradefront. I will be your driver for the day. I wanted to touch on a couple of things real quick about Tesla and Apple. So today we have Tesla and Apple uh, stock splits coming in on Monday. Today is Sunday, August 30th. And I just wanted to touch base on both of these real quick and kind of give my insights on what I think is going to happen with each of the stocks and give some insight for any new traders out there as well. So, in order to effectively do this, I want to start with Apple because Apple's the only one that has a history of doing stock splits. Tesla's never done a stock split before, and Apple's the only one that's actually has a record we can go off of. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, Apple's first stock split took place on the 16th of June in 1987. Now, as you'll see, these dollar prices over here of $1.50 are really cheap, but it's because the graph is actually adjusted for the price basis when the stock split happens. So all I want to focus on in this is the activity of the stock at that time frame to see what the history of Apple stock splits has been. Now, as you can see, I'll zoom in just a little bit. On the day that the stock split happened, which was the 16th of June, the stock opened and on these candles, the red means it closed lower, green means it closed higher. So the stock opened up here at around $1.49, according to this chart. Went up, or no, I don't see a wick actually. Yeah, no wick. So it went up a little bit, came all the way back down, and then got pushed all the way back up by buyers, and then closed at a small loss for the day. And then proceeded to consolidate a little bit, dropped down, and then came back up, dropped down, and then came back up. With the 50 EMA, it kind of stayed in line with the 50 EMA, which is this line that you see right here. So that's the reaction that the stock had due to the split at that time. So the next split took place on the 21st of June in 2000. So let's scroll forward a little bit here. 96, 97, 98, 2000. Okay. So here we see another stock split taking place. And in this time frame, the stock was actually dropping. You see it's trending below the EMA here. It was dropping, 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 dropping. And then it started climbing up until the day of the stock split. And then it consolidated a little bit back down to the EMA and traded on that way. So nothing real big movement-wise overall other than the days leading up to the split. And normally after news happens is when everything gets a real rush, or when things are anticipated like earnings, you get a real rush of stuff and then it all fizzles out, the volatility goes away. So that's why I'm making this video. I want everybody to just be aware of how the stock happened. Now I have no idea. No one can predict exactly what is going to happen. This is just hindsight looking back to see what might have happened or might happen based on what has happened in the past. So the next stock split we have is February 28th of 2005. Here we go. And on this one, you can see again, it run up the month before. The stock split happened here, and then it sold off back down to the EMA. It still respected this EMA in, looking back now all the time. And it bounced back up a little bit and then sold off and basically consolidated in this area for the next few months. So and both of these, I forgot to mention this, all three of these were 2-to-1 stock splits up until this point. Now the next stock split that we have is on the 9th of June in 2014. So let's go forward. This is the last stock split that happened leading up until now. So again, you can see the stock ran up until the split, and then the day after this split, it actually jumped up and then came back down and then proceeded to continue on. So that's what we've seen thus far. Let me come back till today, or this time frame, or not time frame, but this current time. As you can see, we've ran up, and we've ran up a lot. We actually kind of broke out of this channel that I had back here, and I'll cover the channels in another video, but we've actually already been selling off a little bit here, and we're way extended over this EMA. So if you look back to the previous ones that I showed, it did kind of respect this EMA line, and as you can see, the price is not adjusted yet. But according to past, at some point it's going to come back down to the EMA line. That's generally what always happens. It's kind of like a magnet. The EMA line kind of attracts the stock back. So now this is Apple, and I want to show you real quick Tesla. It's going to get a little bit smaller here. On the same thing, and as you can see, the stocks look very similar. And now Tesla's had a lot more growth and everything, but it's not experienced a split before, so it's kind of in uncharted territories. But generally, stocks all respect the same kind of concepts as far as the technical analysis goes. Fundamentals always trump technicals, and we can talk about that in another video as well. So real quick, and I forgot to mention this in the beginning too, Apple's going through a 4-for-1 split, and Tesla's going through a 5-for-1 split. Now, for easy sake, I'm going to use Tesla's numbers. And so what I want to talk about as we go through is there's 3 options that the stock can go that can happen when the stock goes through the split. One is the stock can rise further; it can take off. 2 is the stock just moves unchanged, which kind of consolidates sideways, like we saw in the history with Apple. Or the stock can drop, and there's different reasons for these. So first, I want to cover what would happen with the buyers rushing in because of the new lower price. And so this is a psychology type of thing. It can happen where people want to buy Apple or Tesla, but it's just too expensive. They can't afford a share of Apple or Tesla. The stock split happens. It brings the prices down. And then when the price drops down, now they're able to go through and pick up some shares that they couldn't before, they thought was overvalued before. Now, that advantage, makes more shares available. So then people who want to trade options and sell covered calls on them can do so, because then it's easier for them to get 100 shares. But that's also nowadays that kind of becomes a disadvantage in the same on the psychology side, because maybe people that don't follow the stocks a lot, they're like, hey, Apple was 500, now it's 125. What happened? And they think something might have happened with the company. And a lot of people just trade, especially new traders, just trade off of the news and what's hot on Robinhood and stuff like that. So one disadvantage of it, again, is the psychology. It's kind of a two-edged sword there on the psychology side. Another disadvantage is now that the stock is split, it takes more volume to move the stock price. So it would take a lot more buyers to move the price up because of the increase in volume. And I'll give an example of that here in just a little bit. The second option of the stock remaining unchanged could be because there's a balance of buyers and sellers still, and everything kind of stays in balance of what it is now, and the volumes still stay there and nothing really changes. You've got a good mix of buyers and sellers. Now, the stock could drop as well because it's ran up so much and they're extended over the EMAs. The stock could drop back to the EMA just because of technical reasons, or it could also drop back because it's ran up so much and the big institutions are now going to take their profits. So as the stock drop happens, pulling back to the EMA, with those things happen, as you can see right here, just to back up on Tesla a little bit, it popped up and then it traded sideways and came down a little bit, and the EMA actually came up. So the EMA can come up again, but it did come down from this high. It reached a point of 1794 here and came back down to 1364. And so that's a pretty good move over that period of time from the 13th of July to the 11th of August, and then it run back up again. So taking profits is going to happen. There are going to be people that are going to take their profits, and there's going to be people that want to rush in. So we're going to have to find a balance. But I want to talk about a couple of things here about the stocks. Is when the splits happen, when there is a split, the underlying asset does not change. The company's value doesn't change. or nothing. The only thing that changes is the shares outstanding. When the shares outstanding changes, then that's where I was talking about the more volume is needed. So basically, I want to give it in this type of example, it's a $5 bill. You have one $5 bill. Now, instead of having, but you take that $5 bill and you split it for five $1 bills. You have the same amount of money. Nothing changed. You just have another number, a higher number of dollar bills. So it's the value's the same. You just have more dollars to divvy out instead of one $5 bill. So the differences between everything with the stocks and everything through the split is going to be relevant over the next couple of days. So I'm not saying don't buy, I'm not saying don't sell. I'm just saying watch the stock the first little bit when the stock opens up. So when the market opens tomorrow, you'll see whether the sellers are coming in heavy, whether the buyers are coming in heavy, and you'll be able to make your judgment based off of that. And from a trader's standpoint, you want to make sure that you're trading along with the market cycle that's going on right now. Whether it's more buying or more selling, that'll determine whether you're going to short the stock or go long on the stock. So I hope this video has been informative. I know it's been a little bit longer of a video and a little bit more technical information. I've tried to make it as easy to understand as possible. So please leave a like and comment any questions that you have or concerns or anything that you may have about what I've covered. And if I need to go into more depth with anything, I will. And I hope that you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe and share it with someone who you think would take advantage or could get an advantage from the video. Thank you and have a good one.